All right, our next speaker is Kenney. Caitlin grew up in the Bay Area exploring beaches in San Francisco and the rolling hills. In the 10 years since she graduated from college before coming here, she did things like writing online about camping gear and teaching kids to play the drums and to be in rock bands and to play musical instruments. So Caitlin is here today to talk about what she chose to explore during her capstone project, and some of the mentors and role models and the meaning of that in her work today and moving forward. So please join me in welcoming Caitlin.
Thanks, Samantha. I've been here for 11 years now at the Birch Aquarium, and I started here in our beautiful kelp tank. We are lucky enough to be one of 8 aquariums in the entire world that can exhibit live kelp. Having the ability for a person to go into an aquarium and see what they wouldn't ever be able to see is pretty huge. And giving that connection to someone to be able to put something that they've read about in a book to something they can actually see and physically put together, I think is a big deal to give to someone who's never seen a fish before or never seen a sea cucumber or held something squishy before in their hands. And it really brings home what they're really trying to think about when we're talking about conservation and sustainability and asking people to worry about the ocean creatures and the ocean conditions that are going on out there.
Oh, that one? That's so cool. That is very nice.
If I could impart just sustainability to community and to students here and to the general public that comes through to see things they can do in their life to help keep our world a little more sustainable and around for a little while longer.
I love it.
The first scuba dive I ever went on was at space camp. They let you feel what it's like in space. They put you on hookah in this giant tube and you go down and you swim around and you come back out. And I remember after that being like, oh, I have to learn math? No, I don't want to go to space anymore, but I still want to do that thing where I was flying. And that's when I realized that I could go scuba diving in college. I was like, I remember that, and I really liked it. But it is exactly like space. Jess is my inspiration. I want to be like her all the time. No one can be as bad as Jess. Man, she's awesome.
Maybe I can actually say my title correctly. It's such a mouthful. Okay. Jessica Halsey, Marine and Field Safety Research Training Coordinator. So essentially my job is kind of helping with logistics and training for the scientific diving class, the small boats class, all of the first aid and CPR that we do here, and then any additional trainings, and then also sort of on the field work and helping researchers get what they need to go out in the field.
And then we found out that they have these little windows of shockable remote.
Marine biology as a field on conservation has lots and lots of women. So I think that now we have a better sense of just belonging than we used to, where it felt a little antagonistic at times, or at least that you had to defend your role. Right now, things are shifting a little bit. I would be a little bit sad if we go backwards on that, because I look back on it now and think, oh my goodness, I can't believe that we were all just cool with it. think now that I'm older, I have a better appreciation for like, even though I know that Scripps has engendered a lot of firsts and bests, there's also something to be said for everybody tackling their own personal firsts and bests. And I get to watch my students tackle, overcome their own challenges to do something that they've never done before or get better at a skill that they want to perfect. And I think that that's something that should engender our admiration, and I get to witness it, which is pretty cool as part of my job every day.
Halka Hewanatet, Coach Jackson. Hi, my name is Coach Jackson. I am the docent here at Scripps Institution of Oceanography. My job is to seek, teach, and communicate science to the public. And I'm also the founder of Coastal Defenders. Coastal Defenders is a social, climate, and restorative justice organization dedicated to creating equitable pathways in STEAM, ocean and land guardianship, and aquatics.
Do you see lots of fish and sharks?
Yes!
That's so interesting.
It is so interesting.
Pufferfish?
Scripps has always been about teaching in the environment and outside of the classroom or outside of the lab. And if we do that, then we're helping to deconstruct stereotypes and make science more accessible. Finding your crew of folks is critically important. When they're in the space, because I feel safe, my shoulders drop, my heart is beating slower, and I'm able to literally focus on the materials at hand.
This is what they mean when they say grassroots. But it was so great.
It's only been a very recent amount of time that we've been able to even have role models. And when we have role models, then we can see ourselves in these spaces, and they become inherently more accepting, right? If we know that other people have gone before us.
Those are internal waves. Those are all flicks. I'm an oceanographer, and I have been collaborating at Scripps for about a decade now with the KELP program. My position is in the Department of Biological Oceanography at CICESE, which is a federal research institute in Mexico. My parents, as refugees, always told us when we were much younger that, and because it happened to them, that no matter what you have, it can be taken away from you, including the shirt on your back, but nobody can ever take what's in your mind.
The Kamikowski line, the typical temperature.
In my last year of college, I had the opportunity to work on the West Bank. And so during the sieges in some of the towns on the West Bank, we would go in and help with bilirubin or help with deliveries, deliver insulin, that kind of stuff. The real life of going to medical school, being on a medical campus, did not sort of jive with my reason for wanting to do what I wanted to do. And so I left. I left a very good graduate program at USC and went to Cabo San Lucas to go surfing. So I started becoming really interested in sort of the link between the kelp forest and the quality of the waves and the ecotourism. And that transitioned, interestingly enough, to me doing a PhD in oceanography, focused on kelp.
This, we think, is a coastally trapped wave.
Especially as women, I think you're always riddled with self-doubt, and you're always questioning, wondering, is this right? What am I doing? To tell you the truth, I feel that every day. But I would say, when I take a step back and surround myself with people who share my vision, and then when I look for what brings me joy, I would say those are the moments that I go, no, it's okay, and I'm in the right place, and I'm doing the right thing.
And along the way, you can inspire folks to do the same, right? I always say Coastal Defenders is not just about opening the door for the next person, It's about opening the door, putting our hands out to bring them through the door, and then us both going back and holding the door open for the next person. And then all three of us are walking through the door in perpetuity.
Thanks everyone for watching a cut of my film and seeing a snapshot of the stories of the amazing women featured in it. So I want to tell a little bit of my story as well. This is actually my second time attending Scripps. The first was at Scripps Women's College, a small liberal arts school for women, also founded by Ellen Browning Scripps. I grew up with really supportive parents and positive female role models. My mom never learned how to swim, but she made sure that my sister and I were in the water as kids and on swim team from the time we were 6. I also went to Sally Ride Space Camp, and when I wanted to learn the drums, my parents found me a female drum teacher, and thanks Dad for taking me to lessons and waiting outside for me while I practiced. So I feel really fortunate to have had access to all these incredible opportunities growing up and incredible role models. And then as a media studies major at a women's college, I learned just how important representation is in media and education. If we don't see ourselves in certain roles or in certain spaces, it's much harder to feel that we are able to pursue those opportunities or that we belong in those spaces. So it was really important to me to tell the stories of women who have found a place in their fields and who others might be able to see themselves in, who are super badass, but who have also had very real experiences and different paths that brought them to where they are now. They're also all educators as well, but not necessarily in the traditional sense. In their very different careers, they share their knowledge through hands-on field experience, mentoring, community engagement, and more. So ultimately, my goal is to contribute to creating a more welcoming and accepting space in marine science and conservation and inspire others to get more involved. So now, at this current Scripps, I've learned more about the many challenges climate change is posing that we've needed very diverse and varied solutions to. It also tends to be communities most affected that are not as included in these conversations. So the more people who are represented in decision-making and approaching these issues from different backgrounds and experiences, the better chance we stand at addressing them. So I want to continue to work on my project through my website, and show even more diverse representation through this project. On the site, I'm providing more concrete resources and opportunities for audiences who are interested in getting involved to learn more. And I also want to continue to feature additional subjects who are doing important work in their fields, and also I have links to other relevant media by and about diverse women. It's still a work in progress, but please feel free to check it out at projectsalacia.com. Huge thank you to all these people, and even more people not listed, my wonderful capstone committee, my film crew, Hannah, Samantha, my film subjects, Lydia, who's here, and my amazing cohort, my friends and family, and some other people who also contributed footage. Thanks, Phil. So here are some links where you can visit the site, and also a plug for our Film Fest that is happening this Friday, where you can see the full version of this film and the full films of other people in my cohort. Yeah, thanks everyone. Any questions? Annie.
I was wondering if you could say more about the song. It was so beautiful.
Yeah, I wrote the music for my film. Thank you. Yeah, I've always been really into movies, movie soundtracks, and it was an exciting opportunity to be able to do it for my film as well. And I wanted it to kind of, I don't know, sound like Salacio's like lullaby, like underwater, is kind of the vibe I was going with, something that like goes with the sound of the ocean.
Caitlin, what other steps do you think are great film? First of all, really, it looks really wonderful. What other steps do you think are important for increasing diversity and representation in marine science and conservation?
Great question. Thanks, Samantha. Yeah, I think it's really important to tackle issues of access, access to transportation, to resources, making sure those opportunities are available to diverse communities. Also, just to everyone being open to hearing and learning from other people's experiences. And like Jules eloquently put in the film, holding open the door for people coming after you and supporting others to follow in your footsteps, I think is really important.